to another One to Another podcast. My name is Joanne, and I'm really glad you're listening. Today I'm going to talk about holiday countdown. Already everywhere, Christmas is in full bloom, and it's amazing to me. Most of us haven't even celebrated Thanksgiving yet, but wow, Christmas is on the countdown. So when we hear this, we need to remember that guess what? We're down to countdown. So we got to stop worrying and start thanking God, saying, I thank God this situation can't master me. I thank God that my body seems weak today, but He's promised strength and resources. And so we move on to the holiday countdown. But the problem is that a lot of people say, I don't like the idea of Christmas. I don't like the idea of celebration. It's an increased financial demand, difficult interpersonal dynamics with family members. Sometimes we don't eat right and we don't get enough sleep. There's more social obligations and we already have a crowded schedule. The headache and hassle of holiday travel, shopping among crowds of people, maybe working long hours, just the overwhelming hype of commercialism. Those are a lot of things that people say, you know what, I think I'll just be Scrooge. Well, I believe that you can do something positive in the middle of your grief. I think you can work through the holidays and find some ways to have it be an experience that would bring you some joy. So in the scriptures it says, so teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. So let's talk about wisdom on being wise during the holidays. And in Ephesians it says, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. So if we're going to understand the Lord's will, and we're going to understand that we can celebrate, the first one that I think we have to remember is we have to be prepared. So we got to ask ourselves some questions like, what is expected of you and by whom? What do you like about the holidays? What's really enjoyable to you? What it is you don't like about the holidays? Some of the things I just mentioned. So who's in charge of your holidays? Which of your values are supported by the holidays? What conscious changes are you going to make this year? Remember last year, the nightmare before Christmas? You crammed 3 weeks' work into 4 frenzied days. This year, do yourself a favor by starting early and tackling one task at a time. So if you're going to be prepared, maybe you think about making a master list of holiday jobs, shopping, maybe wrapping presents, social functions, everything else that you can't afford or forget. Keep your list handy. We all have hours committed to jobs, daily routines, if we are lucky enough to have 8 hours of sleep and maybe 8 to 10 hours of work, maybe preparation 3 hours for meals and 4 hours for weekly meetings. We're left with 31 unscheduled hours a week. Surely in those hours we could schedule our Christmas projects. So it's a good idea if you carry a calendar, whether it's on your iPad or however you do it nowadays. I think it's a good idea to fill your December calendar with dates and times of important events, the ones that you want to go to. And you put those on and circle them so it reminds you that there are some things that are important to do and you want to do them. So you want to get some time a little bit ahead of those to get prepared. Now, the whole thing about Christmas cards is a really interesting thing, especially if you've lost a loved one. You think, I really don't want to send Christmas cards. Maybe if you've just lost one, you might send the announcement of the time of the death or the funeral so that people will know that things have changed at your house. Otherwise, they won't know it. This year, because my husband is still in hospice, we had his 91st birthday, a small celebration, and I had a couple of people taking pictures. And we found a picture of us together, and I've chosen that for our Christmas card. And I have them all done, they're all printed. I know, I even have all the envelopes addressed, but that's because I have to be prepared. And I decided that if during this period of time Ron would die, then I would just put a little extra thing in the on top of the card that would say "in memory of." So I don't know. I've just had to try to prepare for whatever's happening at our house and how am I going to handle it and how will I have Christmas cards. So, however many you're going to decide to do, maybe you might want to start working on those now. And then maybe it's important to go over your gift list. Find any gaps by ordering from catalogs. Amazon, let's face it, we love it because we get it the next day. But I have found that this year, I found gifts that I really thought would be fun. And I just bought them for everybody. And I happened to have the time to go to one store and get what I wanted. And then something else I wanted, I just ordered through Amazon. And I have them all ready. And I know this sounds like I must be misorganized, but it's just because I have so much responsibility at home that I have to have things done way ahead. So I have them all gift wrapped and I have the cards all ready to go. So for me, being prepared is knowing what I need to do. Do I want to do this? Yes. Do I don't want to do this? No. Okay. Then so you're not going to do it. The second thing is to be prudent. In the Bible, it says in 1 Samuel 18:14, David acted wisely in all his ways and succeeded, and the Lord was with him. So I want to act wisely. And that has a lot to do with money and how you're going to spend your money. So I think it's important, don't charge if you don't absolutely have to. Many of us do it anyway because it's quick and convenient and nearly required for mall shopping. The average credit card holder charges nearly $1,000 per account during the holidays. This accounts for 40% of his or her yearly charging. So if you are going to charge, then I would suggest you pay it off as soon as the bill comes in because they do charge huge amount of interest if you don't pay the whole thing off. So I think it's important to be careful about how you use your money. It says, Thomas Edison says, I'm not a great inventor. The ideas I use are mostly ideas of people who don't develop them themselves. So take ideas from other people. If I'm giving you an idea that you can use, go for it and use it. Sometimes you just need extra cash. And if you do, maybe you want to sell something. I don't know if Powell's bookstore still does this, but it's amazing if you want to gather up a whole lot of books that you don't want to keep, you can take them there and you may get some money for them. Or how about if you look in your attic or garage for things to sell? Maybe you have some exercise equipment. Maybe you've got some bikes. Maybe you've got some old furniture, cameras, tools, table saws. Anything that you are no longer using that you haven't used for a year or two, maybe it's time to sell it, clean out your garage, and sell these and have some extra money. You can advertise them in different ways on the internet, and you'd be amazed at how many people are looking for just the right gift that at a cheaper price. And maybe selling something you made. I have a really good friend who does that, and she works on it several months in advance, and she goes to a couple of bazaars and sells all the things that she's made, and she does very well, and she has very creative things. And so I know that my daughter last year decided that she was going to give everybody in our family something that she made. And I know she's telling me already this year she's making something for each family member that she's making. And that's wonderful. I love to get gifts that somebody has made. So that's another thing you can do. Now, I'm not sure if you can sell your blood anymore. I'm not sure if that's possible, but if it is, you could check with the Alpha Plasma Center and see if you can get some money for giving blood. How about selling a service? Are you good at Christmas lights? Are you good at putting them up? How about being an usher for a Christmas musical event? Or how about somebody wants to pay you to clean their basement? Or maybe you're great at providing a shopping service. There's lots of people that want to pay someone to help them. And you might be the one that you could sell a service and you would be amazed that someone would pay you for it. Both of my parents were deaf, and my mom and dad, every Thanksgiving and every Christmas and every summer, there was the manager of the Salem Chevrolet, and he would pay my parents to come in after they'd had their dinner, and they had a huge family. After they had their dinner, and my mom and dad and my sister and I, we did this after our own Thanksgiving was over. We go in, we pick up all the plates, we put them in the dishwasher. A lot of them we would wash by hand, but we did that every year for many, many years. And it was a fun way for us to help someone, and we made some money. So if you're creative and you can think of something that you could do, you can cut your expenses if you can find some way to help someone else. And also another thing you might think about is, how many presents are you going to give this year? Is there a way you can cut down on your list? If there is, maybe what the greatest gift you could give them was a thank you note for their friendship. The first year after Dwayne died, he had a lot of shoes and boots and work boots and all these. And what I did is, I filled them all with plant food or plant stuff, that you put your plants in. And I bought cactus, and I put cactus in them, and then I put a bow on it. And I took them out all to his friends, all to our family, and gave them for Christmas. And that was pretty inexpensive. And it was also a way for me to honor him. And they loved him. And I had some of them on my deck for a long time. I think it was 3 years before they disintegrated. But see, it's the whole idea of doing something to honor people you love in a different way. Sending a note of appreciation, or maybe sending something and creating a coupon that says, we'll take you to dinner in May, because you can't afford to take everybody in December or January, and just give it to them as a coupon. Christmas can gobble up a lot of money. Remember, it's really the spirit that counts. And I think it's important that we don't compare ourselves to someone else. In the Bible, it says when they compare themselves with one another, they are without understanding and behave unwisely. So don't compare yourself. Just because your neighbor's doing all this and she makes wonderful fudge and does all this great stuff, you don't have to care. You don't have to compare yourself to her. And then keep your eye on your energy and keep it at a constant level by having good, substantial meals. Now, the third thing is, so first one was we got to get organized and be prepared, and then we need to be prudent, and the third one is to be merry. Just like good old Santa Claus, a merry heart does good like medicine. People who laugh in the face of stress generally cope better with it. So when everything seems to be falling apart at the seams, don't whine and moan. You can learn to say ho ho, ha ha, he he, and have a few good laughs. It is amazing when we can turn our grumbling into being thankful. How about singing? Sing your way through the month of December. Loud singing demands deep breathing, which is relaxing. Hold the high notes as long as you can. Try Oh Holy Night. Singing is great. Wonderful thing happened at our house yesterday because Ron's in hospice. One of the social workers, made a way for a man to come who plays the guitar and sings. And Ron's one of his most favorite songs is Elvira. And he came in with his guitar and he sang that song. And Ron just thought that was the greatest gift. And so maybe you can go to someone's house and sing, or maybe you can get a group together to sing some carols. Anyway, I think it's important that we learn how to sing our way through the month of December. And then the last one, after we understand that we need to be merry, is to be peaceful. In Psalm 16:8, it says, I have set the Lord always before me. Because he's at my right hand, I will not be shaken. Colossians 3:15, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. So something about every day breathing in peace. And as you breathe that in, as you go through your day, you might want to say, I will go forth today in the name of the Lord. I will let the peace of Christ rule in my heart. Or the last one, I will walk in strength and health and love wherever I go today. So how are you going to walk through the holidays? Are you going to have a merry heart? Are you going to take a look at what's going on and see how you can be prepared and prudent, and also you can be merry and peaceful? So I kind of have a fun PS, and the PS is it's commonly eaten foods that have no calories. So the first one is anything eaten while standing in front of the fridge with the open door, leftovers from your children's plates, the kids have already eaten all the calories, anything eaten off a knife or a serving spoon, sandwiches that have been completely covered with alfalfa sprouts and tomatoes, free samples in the store, flavorless cooking oil that's used only to keep foods from sticking, cream cheese when it's stuffed into celery, brownies when cut into quarters and eaten one section at a time, chocolate chips before they're made into cookie dough before it's baked, cookies eaten before they're completely cooled, food labels organic or natural, baked goods made with honey or fruit juices instead of sugar, desserts eaten because everyone else is having some, casseroles finished off before you wash the pan, food that would be thrown out if you did not eat it, any food you don't actually enjoy eating, anything eaten with no one watching, foods consumed but not written down in your diet diary. Anything eaten during December will help you have a Merry Christmas. So I do think that you could take one of these ideas and maybe take one more step towards healing and really have a Merry Christmas.